Hello everyone, IMS welcomes you all to our webinar series, Future You Set Your Career Compass Right with Experts Insight, and I'm Kalyani, your host for today's webinar. So, in today's topic, we will be talking about how to build a career in rural management, and some of the key points that we will be discussing in this session are the career progression of the speaker and how an MBA from IRMA played a role and for him to reach this place with Amul. Then we will be talking about the growth opportunities in this field, a typical day at Amul as a branch manager, key skills to excel, who should pursue an MBA from IRMA, and after an MBA in rural management, where and in which roles can one expect to work at, and more. So let's welcome our speaker today. We have Arunava Sanyal. He's a branch manager at Amul, and he's an alumnus of IRMA Anand. So welcome, Arunava Sanyal, and thank you so much for being here today for this session.
Yeah, good morning, Kulami. Thank you for inviting me in this session.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I don't know. Let's start from the beginning. So you did architecture in your graduation, and then how exactly an MBA from IRMA happened? Why did you choose to do an MBA from IRMA after architecture, after a stint with in your graduation in architecture? Yeah.
So actually, it's a very interesting story. Architecture is a 5-year course, and at the end of this 5th year, we need to do a thesis project to complete our architecture degree. So my thesis project in architecture was basically on rural housing projects. I wanted to design some low-cost rural housing based on the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana scheme, government scheme. So while I was doing that thesis project, I had to interact with a lot of NGOs and development sector workers. I visited a lot of villagers. I interacted with a lot of villagers as well. So while interacted with them, I came to know about IRMA at that time during the final year of my course. So I just came to know about IRMA, and that's it. Now, after graduating from architecture, after completing BA course, I started working, and I worked for 5 to 6 months under a firm, architectural firm. And at that time, I was not much enjoying my job. I wanted to switch my domain. Okay.
Yeah.
So at that time, I started thinking about going for a management degree because after studying architecture for 5 long years, you have got very limited options. Either you need to go for masters in architecture, or maybe in design or in planning, and another option is management. So very few people will find that they go for this management degree. So while I was thinking to go for management, then I started preparing for CAT and SAT and this all management exam. And at that time also, then again, I started looking at the colleges where I can apply. And then again, I also came across IRMA. And frankly speaking, I applied to maybe 7, 8 colleges at the time. And during our time, we had to go to the campus during the interview round. So I went to Anand in IRMA to give the interview round. And at that time, I interacted with a lot of alumni of IRMA, also the faculties also. And I instantly fell in love with the campus. So I just loved the campus.
Yes, it's a beautiful campus. I've been there. Yeah.
Yeah. And before going into the interview, I was also studying about the legacy of IRMA, the story of IRMA. And the whole process was such a nice experience for me. I decided that I shall go for IRMA if I am able to crack the interview. And eventually I cracked the interview and I landed at IRMA. So this is my personal story.
Okay. All right. Okay. So let's then talk about how exactly IRMA played a role in your career then, as in, there, you had like a 6 month, 5 to 6 months experience before that, before the job, before IRMA. And then, you did an MBA at IRMA. So how exactly after that, what kind of a role did that play in your working with Amul? Was Amul the first company that you were working for after an MBA? And was it also through placements that you got? Yeah. So if you can just take us through that bit from IRMA to now. Yeah.
Okay. So the thing is that while studying MBA in IRMA, my SIS was also in Amul. Summer intensive segment was also in Amul. And Amul comes first in IRMA. The first organization that comes in SIS was Amul. So I cracked the interview, and eventually also during our final placement, Amul is the first organization that comes into our campus, and I cracked that interview also, and I got into Amul.
Okay.
Now, if I look back, the thing is that I think if I look back a few years before, okay. So what I was saying that I studied graduation. I mean, I studied my graduation in architecture from IST Shipur. So initially, I need to give some clarity about the background here. Why I choose architecture? Because initially I chose architecture or design courses because at that time I was not very passionate about architecture, but I was very attracted towards the brand name of IST Shipur. Because after completing the 10+2 degree, my rank was around 4,000 something in the West Bengal joint, and then I was getting this opportunity in IST Shipur. And IST Shipur was considered to be a good brand name in West Bengal or eastern part of India. It's a central government institution. So I got admitted into it. Now, the thing is that after, as I have already said, after I completed my degree course in architecture, I realized that this is not the place where I want to build my career. So I was looking for a career switch. And IRMA gave me this second chance in my career. This gave me the second opportunity. So for me, the decision from switching to architecture to management has worked for me. Okay. And worked for me well. Now, initially, while I was going to join IRMA, I didn't have much idea about how Amul works or the work profile and everything was there.
Yeah.
So, as I have already said, that the first organization that came to IRMA in the SIS was Amul. And during our SIS, I worked around 2 months in Amul. And there I learned a lot of things about the sales and distribution management, about the different distribution highways of Amul, how Amul works, what is the basic values of Amul. And at that time, I felt very interested. I mean, it was mainly a sales internship, okay, during my SIS, but that experience was very enriching for me. So during that time, I decided that if I am able to convert the final interview Amul, I should go for Amul in the final interview. And eventually, the first organization that came in our organization in IRMA is Amul, and I was able to crack it. So that is the story for me. And the thing is that, as I've already said, it was a very critical decision for me from the decision to switch from design courses or architecture courses or planning courses to management. And it has worked for me personally very well. And IRMA gave me that second chance and this opportunity. And it has worked for me.
Okay. So, can you tell us about the career growth, or rather the trajectory that one can have if one is, one has done a MBA from IRMA? What kind of career trajectory or career growth? Who are the people who are usually coming? As in, of course, we know now Amul is definitely there, but what all other things, like, because our attendees, they are the ones who have taken CAT last year, 23, and there are some who are planning to sit for IRMA, and of course there are also attendees who are going to be taking CAT in 24. So obviously there's a lot of questions about if you are doing an MBA from IRMA, who are the ones who will be coming for the placements, or which are all the companies, what are the kind of job opportunities or the roles and functions where one can actually find themselves in after an MBA from IRMA. So can you just tell us a little bit about that? Yeah.
So actually, role management is a very diverse field, and in our placement, organizations come for a diverse sectors also. So if I name a few, like we got organizations from dairy cooperatives, from banks, corporate banks came, microfinance organizations came, NBFCs came, agribusiness organizations came, agri-tech startups came, also few consulting organizations also came, also NGOs were there, and also development sector organizations were also there. And apart from that, you find a few FMCGs and FMCG organizations also. So there is a diverse pool of option there for the students after studying from IRMA. And among all these sectors, there are a few sectors where IRMAns have done exceedingly well. I mean, you will find a lot of IRMAns in the top management position. Like in microfinance, you will find IRMAns have done really well. In FMCGs also, IRMAns are doing well. In strategy roles also in development consulting field also, and also in agri-tech. So these are the few sectors where IRMAns are doing really well at this moment. And regarding the career progression, I would like to say that, like, currently I'm working in Amul in a, you can say it's an FMCG organization, and I'm working as a sales role. I'm working as a branch sales manager. Okay. So if you are going to start your career in FMCG, in Amul, your Mother Dairy, or any other organization, you can also start your career in corporate also. So then your first stint will be the first line manager. You will start as an ASM. In Amul, it is called at OIC, or after you become little senior, after you completed 2-3 years, you will be promoted as a branch manager in Amul. So the thing is that you will start with the first line sales role in sales. After a few years, you go to the regional level roles, and down the line, you will go to the national level, national head for sales, these kind of things. Now, if you're interested in marketing, most of the cases, core marketing roles in FMCGs doesn't come to IRMA. Mostly, you will get sales role. After working 2-3 years, you get the opportunity to switch to marketing. So in marketing, you will mostly, if you're working in FMCG or FMCG, you will be going for brand management roles. After you get a few years in brand management, then you will go for group product manager. Then you will eventually go to the marketing head or national marketing head, this kind of roles. Now, the thing is that if you are working in banking sector, then you start with relationship manager kind of roles. Also, there are strategy. After working 2-3 years in banking sales, also people go for strategy roles, or people go for product roles also. They design different kind of banking products and these things there. And if you are going for NGO, then you will be given a responsibility of a cluster of a project. Maybe you will be in charge of a district where some projects are going on. So that will be also be a first line manager role in NGOs also. So the roles are very diverse, and the career progression will be based on the sector you are going, and accordingly also it will work.
Okay, tell me, what makes IRMA in rural management, as in this particular MBA in rural management, how is that unique from other MBAs? Maybe, roughly, if you can just also, there are a lot of people, who are also thinking of, they are interested in rural management, they're probably interested even in agriculture. So, do you think like the course that is offered by IIM Ahmedabad, the Agribusiness program, is that is that very different? Or is IRMA also teaching in their program things about agri-market and agribusiness as thoroughly as maybe the one that is specifically about agribusiness program that is offered by IIM Ahmedabad? Yeah, can you just throw a light on this?
Yeah, so the thing is that in IIM Ahmedabad, the role that is offered is FABM role. And we had our colleagues in Amul who came from that FABM role to, Amul, they joined Amul. We have got our colleagues there. Sometimes we interact with them also. So I would say that the role is very different, but the courses are very different. But the thing is that IRMA is in this sector for the last, I think, 44-45 years, since 1979. So we are the pioneer institution in India who are teaching rural management. So you will find that all the top, a majority of the top managements of, as I said, development sector or NGOs, everywhere you will find IRMAs. Okay. The second thing is that, as I have seen, in IRMA, you are taught multiple very unique subjects. Like you are taught rural society and policy in your first term. There are also theories of rural development. There is also managing corporate enterprise. These kind of subjects are there. Rural finance was there. Agri input marketing was there. Also subjects on public policy was there. So these are very unique subjects that are offered in IRMA, not in other many institutions for those who are teaching in rural management. Okay. Apart from that, in the course curriculum of IRMA, after we join IRMA, we go through the induction process. So during that induction, we go to, for 3 or 4 days, we are sent to remote locations of Gujarat to get an idea or get a feel of that rural society, okay, and rural lifestyle. And also, we have got a VFS segment in IRMA. We call it Village Fieldwork segment for 2 long months. During these 2 long months, students of IRMA were sent to, I think, 20 to 22 states. Interior villages of 20 to 22 states, and they work under NGOs, they work under different projects. And this is also a very unique experience to IRMA. Because while...
So there are 2 internships, that means, almost, isn't it?
Yeah. The thing is that the VFS is not an internship. During the VFS, you need to go to the rural areas. You need to go, you need to work under an NGO mostly on certain projects. Mostly VFS are not paid, but the SIS segment is paid. The SIS is the management internship segment. So during this VFS segment, as I have said, 3 or 4 went to, our VFS was in Jharkhand. We went to interior parts of Dumka. We stayed there for 2 months, and it was a very life-changing experience for us. So we got to know a lot about the rural society, how rural household works, the basics of rural economics. So it was a great exposure for us. Okay. So this is the way IRMA is different from some other generic B schools, or the course is different for other B schools. And the thing is that eventually what is taught in other B schools, most of the subjects are also taught in IRMA. The course is almost same, but adding to that, we have got this few more subjects and few more VFS segment to give us a holistic approach towards the rural society or rural life. That's it.
Okay, tell me, if somebody is, so a lot of people think that one should only get into IRMA, or one should only sit for IRMA if they're interested in rural management or working for NGOs and all. But it seems like, no, it's not true, right? There are corporate, you can also have a career which is in corporate, and but then tell me, if somebody is having a like is aiming for corporate, like would like to have a corporate life, but is also going for IRMA. What do you think? Is that something that you would advise that person to go for? As in, does that change your views about your approach when you are working in the corporate world? Does that change, or your approach is different from the other MBA professionals? Is that how it is?
So while we were in IRMA, it was said that a few qualities are expected to have in a Nirman. Firstly, empathetic, compassionate, and have integrity. These are the three qualities that every Nirmans must have. So I think this applies for any good human being also. Okay.
Yeah.
The second thing is that ideally the concept of IRMA is that those who should join IRMA who want to give back something to the society. Okay. Also, maybe who are ready to stay a few years of their life, or maybe the starting phase of their life in the tier 2 or tier 3 cities or in rural areas.
Yeah.
And those who have compassion and empathy towards the rural life and society. So this is the ideal scenario. But at this moment, I mean, what I have seen that most of my batchmates, almost 70 to 80, more than 80% of batchmates are mostly working in corporates. And most of them are working in tier 1 cities, metro cities. Okay. I mean, that is the thing. And around 10 to 15% of our batchmate is currently working in development sector or NGOs. I mean, we get all types of opportunities. Okay. I mean, during our time, I think more than 70, 80 organizations came in IRMA. Corporates were there, development sector organizations were there, NGOs were there. And we had the freedom to choose as per our choice. Okay. So the thing is that those who I mean, as I said, that in IRMA, I have also interacted with some students also, and I interact with them, and I find that people think that IRMA is only for rural management.
Yeah.
So maybe it was the case maybe 15 years ago, because I have heard that 15 years ago the batch strength was also very limited, maybe 40, 50 batch strengths were there in IRMA, and at that time there were certain corporates also who were not. They were barred from participation in the placement process also, certain corporates. But in the last 5, 6, or maybe 10 years, what I have seen that IRMA has evolved. I mean, now corporate from all sectors participate in placements, and I have already said that 80% of the students are placed in mostly corporates also. And people also look for the ROI thing also. Okay, so IRMA provide a good ROI. That is the thing. Apart from that, you get a great faculty and great campus life also in IRMA. So overall, the thing is that I mean, if I say practically 80% of students, more than 80% of students are mostly working in corporates, in big organizations. And even though I found that some of my friends started their career in development sector, then some of them worked for 1, 2 years. They didn't like the role, or they were not feeling content. Then they moved to other sector. They went to banking. They went to corporate. So these things which just happens. It happens frequently. So it is not that if you are going to IRMA, you will be only offered a role in NGO or development sector. So I mean, if someone just want to see, just go to the IRMA website, you will be able to see the types of organization that are coming. So you will find the diverse opportunities in IRMA.
Correct. Okay. All right. There's a question about, could you please share your interview experience? If you remember the interview experience at IRMA,
Yeah. So
the kind of questions, and did you prepare specifically for IRMA? Anything specific to IRMA? Yeah, you could just tell us that.
No, at that time, we used to have IRMA set. I think, I'm not sure presently whether IRMA set is taken or not. It was a MCQ type of question, I mean, exam pattern. And there, I think 25 questions were there. Mostly it came from general awareness, or some questions came from rural society polity. These kind of questions were there. Mostly those were from general awareness. And I didn't prepare specifically for IRMA, but my interview experience was, as I have said, that it was really enriching. During interview, I was asked a diverse set of questions. Okay, firstly, they asked me about from the place where I belong. Who was the MLA, who was the MP, just basic question they asked. They just wanted to know that whether I was aware about what is happening. I mean, so I was aware about or not. Secondly, the type of question I come from West Bengal. Okay, so they were asking about the political scenario of West Bengal.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, they were asking about different industries of West Bengal. Like they asked me, I can recall that they asked me about jute industries, why jute industry was declining. Okay, in West Bengal. Also, apart from that, they asked me few questions from my personal life also. Okay. So why was coming to IRMA after studying architecture? That was a very popular,
Correct.
this common
Yeah.
question. Everyone asked me. Even all the interviews that I given,
Even I
everyone asked me
asked
this.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there is also very popular question, why IRMA? I mean, everyone is asked this question, and everyone has their own answer to this. Okay. So as I've said, so mostly it was a very good interview experience. So if someone is aspiring to go to IRMA and he want to prepare for interview, there are a few questions that is normally asked to everyone, like why IRMA, why do you want to come to management? Then they ask you a few questions about your native place sometimes, whether are you aware about your locality area or not. Then sometimes they ask a few political questions. They ask questions on general affairs also. It's a very mixed, diverse set of questions was asked to in the interview, as far as I can recall. Because I gave the interview in 2019. It is almost 4 years ago. So as far as I can remember, I just explained.
There's a question, but can you also tell us the scope of someone who comes from marketing background? So, yeah, and probably is going to sit for IRMA, I think. Yeah. So somebody from marketing background, what kind of a scope is there? So they have to start from, even if they have worked in marketing for quite some time, do they still need to go through sales again
No,
after
it
IRMA?
will it will I think depend upon the organization and mainly sector also. Because if someone has got experience in FMCG sector and then he is sitting for an interview in FMCG role, then he has got a very good opportunity that he will be offered directly a marketing role. The opportunity is always there. Okay. So like for, I can say for Amul, like during our time, 16 students were taken from IRMA in our batch. And two of them were offered marketing roles. I mean, in roles in head office, and 14 were posted in sales role. Okay, so it is not that marketing roles are not at all offered, but it offered sometimes. But the proportion, ratio of marketing role to sales role, you will find that almost 90% roles are offered in sales. Now the thing is that you need to understand why normally organizations do not offer marketing role at the start of their career, because for example, if you're working in FMCG, like if you're working in Amul and you want to be a brand manager of Amul, then at first you should know how things are done in the ground level. Because if you don't know how things are done in the ground level, how things are implemented, you won't be able to formalize a strategy. For example, you are a brand manager of maybe Amul Cool, yeah, Amul chocolates. So you are making some strategies, you are making some campaigns. So unless you haven't worked in the sales profile, unless you know how things are done, how things are implemented, how sales channels work, how our distribution channels work, it will be difficult for you to make that strategy. So that is why mostly for most of the organization, it is not for IRMA. For most of the IIMs also, I've got many of my friends who have studied from old IIMs, baby IIMs, new IIMs. So most of the organization, if you're starting in maybe FMCG, maybe Coke, Pepsi, Mondelez, anywhere, first you work as a management trainee for a few months, maybe 1 year. Then you are profiled, you are offered an ASM role maybe for 1 year or 2 years, and then you move to marketing roles. And if you already have that experience in sales, then there is a chance that you will be offered roles in marketing based on the requirement.
Okay. This is a very popular question I get whenever I have somebody on the panel from IRMA. Do you think MBA from IRMA can aid those who wish to pursue civil services in the long term? Yeah.
So the thing is that there are a lot of IRMAns who have gone for UPSC after graduating from IRMA. Then maybe some of them worked for few years in development sector. Some of them worked in NGOs. Some of them worked in banks, and eventually they went for civil service. Not lot, maybe I think there are 10, 12 IRMAns are there who are currently working as a civil servant in India.
Okay.
Even currently, I'm staying in Tripura. Okay, and one district magistrate of Tripura, she was from IRMA, I think maybe PRM 25 batch. Okay. So things are there. But I would suggest that if you want to go for civil service, then you should directly start preparing for civil service after doing a graduation. That is a better option, because uh, there is directly no link between IRMA and civil service. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, eventually many IRMAs in the past, it has been seen historically, because how it happens, because like you are studying from IRMA, then you are offered in a role in an NGO or development sector. You are going there, you are going into the villages, you are implementing different projects. And down the line, maybe you have realized that you are not getting that kind of authority that you wish to have, or wish to make changes in the society. So you need more authority, or you need more power. So then many people go for UPSC. But I personally would recommend that if you're interested for UPSC, you should go for UPSC directly, not doing an MBA in IRMA and then go for UPSC.
Okay. Which were the two magazines that you just mentioned? One was Yojana.
Yojana and Kurukshetra.
Kurukshetra. Okay.
Kurukshetra.
Okay. Yeah. So, okay. So let's talk about now the skill sets. Well, obviously, you were talking about, a few soft skills you already mentioned before, and that, you need to be a good human also, you need all those. But yeah, specifically, if somebody wants to make a career in rural management, or if somebody wants to be in IRMA and should be able to be a good fit, as in should not be absolutely, should not be struggling once, they are in IRMA. So yeah, what are the skill sets, soft skills and hard skills that one should ideally have to have a successful long career in rural management, or to have even be a success or have a good experience at IRMA? Yeah.
Okay. So if you are asking me about the maybe soft skill, I believe that everyone should work on their communication and public speaking, because that is a very important thing that one needs to ace in the interviews. That will help you. Second thing is that critical thinking, because if you are going to IRMA or any other B schools, so you need to multitask a lot. You will be given a lot of different case studies. So you need to develop the concept of critical thinking. That is also very important. Apart from that, time management is also very important. As per my understanding goes, time management is also very important skill if you're going for management, because at a single moment of time you will be given 4 5 tasks or 4 5 projects. You need to handle everything at its time. So unless you have got the skills of time management, it will be very difficult for you. And in terms of hard skill, I think the hard skill one need to gain for IRMA and other B schools are not very different, because as I have said, the courses are very similar. If you just take the course of IIM and if you just compare it the course of IRMA, those are, I think, 90% will be similar. Subjects will be similar. But yeah, obviously in the fifth or sixth term, you get to choose electives. So in IRMA, you will get a lot of variety in electives. Okay. Apart from the general management courses also. Now, regarding the hard skill, what I have felt while studying in IRMA, data analysis and market research is a very important skill one need to ace. Apart from that, basics of Microsoft Excel, that is very important. Whether you are going into sales or finance or marketing, you need to know Excel very well. And apart from that, regarding the presentation, you need to be expert in any one of the presentation softwares. Like it can be PowerPoint, it can be Canva, it can be Prezi, but just learn one software well. And apart from it, I think basics of digital marketing, SEO, these things one need to have an idea. And if someone is going, to study in IRMA or any other B school from a non-commerce background, I believe that because a few years down the line the courses will start. So I struggled a lot in the first term in financial accounting. So before going to B school, just learn the basics of the financial accounting terms. It will help you down the line in your first term, because in every B school you will study fact. Okay, so this is just one tips I just want to share.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. What is the advantage of BSc agriculture students in IRMA for rural management?
Yeah. So I think for those students who come from agriculture, food, dairy, they get some relaxation in the cutoff. During our time, the cutoff was 85 percentile for all the other general engineering students, and those who are coming from agri, dairy, food background, they had the cutoff of 80 percentile, as far as I can remember. So that is one relaxation they get. Apart from that, as I have already said, that several dairy cooperatives come in IRMA during the placement. Agri-tech organizations come, agri-financing organizations come also. So if you have already got that background, you will sometimes you may get a little edge in the placement in those sectors, in those particular sectors.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Now let's talk about your typical day as a branch manager at Amul. When does your day start and when does it end? I'm sure you know, yeah. I mean, every time I have called you, you're like somewhere stuck in traffic and all that, and that's that late. So yeah, so what's a typical day for you? From morning till evening, yeah.
Yeah. So thing is that uh, as I am working as a branch manager in Amul, my day can be of two types. Firstly, I shall be working in the market. Maybe 70% to 80% of the time I am working in the market, and 20 to 30% of the time I shall be working in the office for the officials. Okay, because we have got our depot and office set up in Agartala. So while I'm working in the market, the thing is that in sales, that is applicable for any organization, any FMCG organizations. Uh, you have your FFR, or you can say the sales officer with you. You shall be going to a distributor point. That can be in the upcountry markets also. We need to travel a lot during that time, because in Tripura, we have got more than 40 distributors of Amul, and I need to visit some of them, at least 4 or 5 of them in every month. Okay. And I shall be going to the distributor point. I shall be visiting. I mean, I shall be traveling with my sales officer. Then I shall talk with the salesman. We have got beads designed in FMCG. So I need to go to the market also. I need to sometimes I need to talk with the retailers, and I need to see whether the salesman is working properly in the beat or not. Because we have got a lot of. I mean, at this moment, Amul has got more than 30 different product categories in my branch. Okay. So I need to ensure that all the products are going to the market. The salesman is taking order for all those products, and whether there is gap for market or not. And maybe there can be also untapped market also. Okay, maybe there is a potential to appointment new distributor in that market. Maybe there is a gap in that market. So at that time, I mean, during that, if I have found a gap in the market or in locality, maybe I need to appoint a new distributor, or I need to find a new distributor. So at the time also, I need to travel. I need to talk with multiple vendors also. So that is normally my typical day if I'm going to the market, or I'm going to the upcountry market. So if I'm going to the upcountry market from, you can say, from 10 to 6, 6:30, I shall be working in the market. And if I'm going to the office, then like I'm in charge of the depot and go down. Okay. So I need to ensure that the FIFO is being maintained in the go down. Also, I need to plan for different activities in the coming months. So maybe 7 to 8 days I go to the office, and rest of the times I go to the market with my sales officer. I visit different distributor points. So even I'm also going to the office, the timing will be around 10 to 7. Ideally 10 to 7. This is normally how we work, you know.
Okay. Tell me, there is a question, and I don't know if you can answer this, but does gender plays any role when it comes to placement as a sales manager? Because, obviously, as you said, your typical day, and if you are in a remote place, and somebody has to travel to all these places and also, yeah, while the person is sitting for any of these interviews, do they consider that as well? Like sometimes that,
No.
maybe not safe for a woman or something.
No, the thing is that like 16 people were able to crack Amul's interview, and I think around 9 or 10 there will be male, 6 people were female, and those I mean who are joining in sales. Okay, yeah, like for I mean for us for male, I mean like we are I mean I worked in northern part of Assam. and then I came as a Agartala as a branch manager. And as I've already told, that two people were offered marketing role. Both of them were females. Okay. Apart from that, those who are also going for sales role, most of the cases they are giving, placement in large cities. Most of them are working in large cities, and the safety issue, those things are kept in mind. So that doesn't matter much. And apart from that, I can say that my wife is also working in sales. She is working in Nivea. Okay. So if you see, it is true that the percentage of women who are currently working in sales is on the lower ratio. Maybe it will be 20-25% of women is there in the sales force. But being woman is not a barrier in sales. I have never seen this. It's not a barrier.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Let me. Okay. But tell me something about roles in consultancy. Is there any roles like rural management consultant or something? Or what are the kind of consultancy, or rather in placements also? What are the kind of roles that they are coming from consulting?
Yeah. So mostly consultant roles are provided in IRMA, but numbers are in less. During our time, I think less than 10 roles were offered. Okay, so Ernst and Young came, also few other organizations came. And if you are asking that if there is any sector where IRMAns have some age in consulting, that will be development consulting. We call it dev consulting. So just to give you a few idea, like we had a even subject also, impact assessment in IRMA, where we studied how to assess the impact of a certain government project, whether that is properly being implemented or not, and what is the overall impact of the project in the society. So there is a very large opportunity in development consulting, and many IRMANs are working there. And mostly they are working, some of them working in strategy roles also, some of them working with government organizations also. And also there are the big four in consulting is there. We all know the names. So many IRMANs are working there also in consulting. But they are obviously working in those projects which are related to rural society, or maybe rural, financing projects also there. So a lot of projects are there currently under government in rural areas, and most of them are offered in those projects, consulting role in those projects. And as I said, development consulting is also a very unique field where IRMANs can do well.
Okay, okay. There's a question, but please tell us regarding scope for doctors in IRMA. Yeah, so what kind of diversity is there? Like, in your batch itself, if you remember, what were the kind of course, you yourself were one, but yeah, so people from different backgrounds, yeah?
Actually, during our time, during our batch, I'm from PRM 40, our batch range was around 216, as far as I can remember.
Okay.
So, senior, there was a veterinary doctor was there. I can remember a dentist was also there.
Okay.
Apart from that, in IRMA, like I was an architect. So there was people come from various backgrounds. Okay. And apart from that also, I found that even there are students who are a long career gaps also, like maybe 3 or 4 year career gap. They were preparing for UPSC. And eventually they couldn't convert UPSC. Then they came to IRMA. And IRMA welcomed those people also. And they did eventually really well in their career. In the career. So, a student from, I think, engineering will be around maybe 50%. I'm just telling a ballpark figure, I'm not sure. But engineering will be 50%, and there's people from commerce, arts, humanities, people from every domain was there in our batch. And the diversity was really well.
Okay. Okay. What are the other programs at IRMA? Is this the only?
We studied the PGDRM, postgraduate.
That's the flagship, I believe.
That's the flagship program. Apart from that, also there is an executive program also. Okay. We call them PGDRM X. That's the executive program. That's I think it's a 1 year, 16 months program. Yeah, 1 year program. So during our time, their batch strength was around 25 to 30. And some of them also joined Amul. Many of them also joined different corporates. Many of them joined development organizations also. So these are the main two courses that were going on in campus during our time. So I'm not updated what is going on at this moment.
And there's nothing on sustainable management and all, at least not your time, right?
I'm not sure.
Okay, we'll have to do. I'll do some research and I'll get back to you. Okay, and so now tell me, what's the kind of work-life balance one usually expects after one begins anywhere after post IRMA? And if you can also tell us like like from junior level to senior level, you did mention some of the where you start and where, but the thing is, can somebody from IRMA or somebody who has started off at say any company and can they reach CXO? Can they become CEO or CXO? Is there someone like that who's been there? Yeah. So how senior can one get, and how much of a boost one gets if you're like a non-MBA and if you're an MBA from IRMA in any company? How many years boost are you getting by doing that MBA from IRMA? Yeah. I know quite a few questions together. Yeah, so maybe.
So let me address your last query first.
Huh, huh.
Like if you are working in FMCG or any dairy cooperatives, if you don't have an MBA degree, you will start with sales officer kind of role. And
Okay.
from sales officer to ASM, I think it will be a journey of maybe 8 to 10 years. And
Okay.
if you have got a degree from IRMA, you will directly join as the first line manager. Okay.
Okay.
So you are getting an age of around 7 to 8 years after you are studying from IRMA. Apart from that, as I have already said, there are certain sectors where IRMAns have done exceedingly well, like in FMCG, in microfinance. Apart from that, in development consulting roles, in agri-tech, in strategy. So you will find a lot of IRMAns who are at the CXO level in these sectors. Like for example, I can say the MD of Amul, the current MD of Amul is an IRMAN. The last MD of Amul, Sodhi sir, he was also an IRMAN. The MD, I think maybe ex-MD of Lotte India Corporation, he was an IRMAN. MD of ITC Agritech, he was also an IRMAN. Apart from that, maybe CEO of Pidilite, ex-CEO of Pidilite, he was also an IRMAN. If I am looking at the finance sector, I am only giving you example of the corporates. Okay. If you are looking at the finance sector, I can remember, I think the global payments MD of Standard Chartered Bank, she was an IRMAN. The global policy manager of Airbnb, she was also an IRMAN. So you will find a lot of IRMANs who are working at the top level management or in the board in corporates and as well as in development sectors also. Okay. Now, as you have said that how the career progression normally happens. So as I've said, normally you are joining as a first line manager. Okay. In sales, I'm talking about sales or FMCG sales, you are joining as a first line manager. Okay. Now, if you are looking for any other organizations, normally you will work for maybe 5, 6 years down the line for a branch manager kind of roles or a first line manager kind of role. Then many people move to other organizations also. So normally it takes 6, 7, 8 years to go to the middle management. Okay. And then from middle management, people go to the national level roles. So it depends on the sector where you are working. So it also depends a lot because maybe if you are working in the banking sector, you will be a VP much earlier. Maybe within 5 years you will be a VP. Maybe within 10 year, you will 10 year or 8 year, you will be able to be a senior VP in a large corporate from IRMA. Even also I can recall that for if you are going for the smaller organizations, okay, then IRMANs are provide regional level roles also. I mean, some of our batchmates, they joined as a regional level role in some development sector organizations. So it happens. It happens. So I mean, as you said that there are a lot of IRMANs. I have already said in the top management roles, in the boards, in the development sector, in the fintech, in the microfinance sector, and in the corporates, everywhere you will find.
Okay. And what's the work-life balance like?
The work-life balance, as I've already said, in Amul, mostly we'll work 10 to 7. Apart from that, we sometimes got calls from our distributor that we need to handle. But the overall work-life balance is good. Overall, it's good. But as I've said, the work-life balance will vary a lot in sector to sector. Because if you're working in FMCG sales, the work-life balance will be a certain kind of. If you are working in a startup, it will vary a lot.
Yeah, so are there startups coming for hiring for the placements?
Many startups come
So
also.
so these startups are usually from which sector?
Agri-tech. Many startups from agri-tech, agri-financing, many startups come there. And many of our IRMANs have also started their own startup also. There are a few unicorns also who are started by IRMANs.
Okay. Is there any scope in government PSU sector after MBA from IRMA?
I mean, government PSU sector doesn't come directly for recruitment. from IRMA, as far as I can remember. Maybe few years past, I mean, a few years ago, SBI used to come in IRMA sometimes. But I found that sometimes people join as a consultant in PSU sectors. But that is, I mean, in the later phase of their career. Directly, I mean, as far as I know, direct recruitment is not possible from government PSU sectors after going from IRMA.
And does IRMA expect you to have some amount of experience when they're thinking of, like, the kind of profile that they select and all that? So is it?
The thing is that I didn't have much experience. Okay, I had experience of only 5-6 months in architecture, small architectural firms. I worked there. Then I also worked some freelancing also. So it is not that you must have experience. I mean, you must have experience of certain years to join IRMA. It is nothing like that. But there was a good mixture of experience and non-experienced candidates. I think as far as you can name, 30 to 40% were freshers. So 20-30% had 1 to 2 years experience. Some of them had more than 3 year experience, and even also I can remember we had people in your batch who had more than 10 to 12 year experience also in our batch. One guy had. So,
And what roles can a fresher expect during placement?
as I said, I mean,
No, but does that depend on the kind of internship you have, and then maybe something?
It is not directly related to that.
Okay.
Some people get PPO. I think during our time, 10-12 people get PPO. I think last year also 15-20 people got PPO. So that is one thing. But apart from that, there is no direct relation between your SIS and your final placement. But like it happened for me because I worked in SIS in Amul, and eventually it helped me a little. It helped me a little because I was already aware of the sales and distribution highways of Amul. So it helped me during my final interview. But it is not that those who are only working in SIS in Amul or any FMCG organization, they will be absorbed during the final interview. It is not like that. So it all depends upon the interview and how you are able to present yourself.
Okay. How about the scope for a horticulture graduate in IRMA and placement for horticulture graduate? What kind of field they will be hired for?
I had a friend who worked from horticulture background in IRMA, and currently he is, I think, working in an agri-tech organization. So profiles are, I mean, there. I mean, various people from horticulture, agriculture. I mean, during our time, 15-20% of our, maybe not 20%, around 15% of our batch came from agriculture background in IRMA. So there was a large chunk of people who studied their agriculture. I mean, in graduation, and it is not that they are only working in agri-tech field. Some of them has joined banking, some of them has joined corporate roles. So I mean, it will be very difficult to say that if you're coming from agriculture background and then going for IRMA, you will only be placed in agri-tech roles or only be placed in agri-financing roles. It is not like that.
Right. Okay. And how much of your learnings at IRMA helps you in your, your day-to-day work as a branch manager at Amul? Like maybe, if you can take one example, or maybe even if you can take one challenge that you've had during your stint at Amul, and how did you overcome it? Yeah, both together.
Okay. So the thing is that in IRMA, we were taught about empathy, leadership, integrity. So these things are very important while you are handling your own team. Because currently, as I've said, I am working as a branch manager. I am in charge of the state of Tripura. Okay, so around 5 people from sales domain report to me, 3 from on-roll, 2 from off-roll. There are people from finance domains also. I mean, the finance team also, around 3 people from finance report to me. Also, I have got a team of CNF and warehouse staffs also there. I'm directly handling around 40 to 45 distributors. There are also salesmen are working under them. Around there 70 salesmen were there across Tripura. So this is my whole team that I am handling on a day-to-day basis. So if you are handling such a large team, first thing you have to be dynamic, and you must have empathy. You need to understand how things are done in the ground level, how the salesmen are doing it on a day-to-day basis. You need to talk with them. You need to understand their challenges, and you need to also motivate them. So these are some of the qualities that which were taught in IRMA, okay, on day-to-day basis. Apart from that, I am handling the sales and distribution highway Amul. And we also have subjects like sales and distribution management in IRMA. And it was also taught by the top management of Amul also. Okay, our CGM sir used to taught it in IRMA. So those teachings and learnings also helped me a lot. Those were mostly theoretical learnings. But while I am working in the field, these things, I mean, I can relate with the learnings of IRMA regarding the sales and distribution management, and I can implement in the fields also. And regarding challenges, there will be a lot of challenges in sales because you are working in a very dynamic environment. You have got a lot of different products. You need to place it in the market. Like in my market, I am working in Tripura. Agartala is the only major town with a sizable population of around 4 lakhs. Apart from Agartala in Tripura, all are small town, rural towns. Their population is around 30,000, 40,000. There are more than 50 small towns in Tripura state which has got a population of around 10,000, 8,000, 12,000 population. So mostly I need to travel to rural areas, small towns. I need to talk with the distributors, and the skill to negotiate with the distributors or the skill to negotiate with the people of these areas. These things, I mean, were taught in IRMA, and also a lot of learning during our VFS, village field work segment. As I have said that we stayed 2 months continuously in a very interior part of Dimka. So we learned a lot of things about rural society during that time also. And those learnings also eventually help us down the line while we are going to the small market, rural markets. We are placing newer products, newer SKUs. So these things help us a lot. Help us a lot. Learnings.
And is there any one challenge that you face that pops in your head right now, as in something that was really a challenging situation and you could somehow overcome it?
See, we face a lot of challenges, mostly regarding the operations sector, because I am also handling the sales and operations also. Now, whatever products we have, majority of our dairy products are coming from Gujarat or western part of India, and it takes around 12 to 15 days to reach it to Tripura state. Okay, so I need to handle stocks accordingly. I need to plan for stock accordingly. I need to make sales plan accordingly. So in every year in the northeast part of India, during the mainly rainy seasons, you find that the roads are blocked or landslide happens. And during those times, even it has happened that stocks are not coming to a depot for maybe 8 days, 10 days due to the landslide, due to the roads are blocked. And at that time, making the whole thing run, it is a very big challenge for us. And accordingly, we need to make I mean, preparation for stocks. We need to arrange for arrangement for stocks. It was a very big challenge for us. I mean, and in every year during the training season, we face these challenges. And apart from that, product-wise, we have got multiple challenges. Like we are getting new products. I mean, Amul is launching multiple new products. Like we are launching organic ranges. Also, we are launching honey. We have already launched bakery ranges. Oil is also being produced by Amul under Jarmai range. So these new products are coming in our market. We need to place them in the market, in the rural market. So these are different challenges we face on a day-to-day basis. And it also motivates us also. This challenge also motivates us to go on.
Correct. Yeah. There's a question about how much of agricultural knowledge should one have to crack IRMA interview. Of course, you said that to read a little bit of, but
so
does
it is not mandatory. If you are coming from an agriculture background, the interview panel may ask you a few questions. Yeah, they will expect. But if you are not coming from agri background or food background, they won't ask you questions related to this technical agri or food. Okay, they will mostly ask you regarding they can ask you something about your field, but it is not mandatory that you have to learn the basics of dairy sector. But it is expected that while you are going to an interview in IRMA, you should know the basics of Amul, how the cooperative of Amul, the history of Amul. You should, go through this. And also, I shall recommend that before going to the interview of IRMA, you should read one book. The name of the book is I Too Had a Dream. There is a biography of Dr. Varghese Kurian. So that is a must. Everyone, those who are want to go to IRMA, those who are going to sit for the interview of IRMA, this book is a must. I Too Had a Dream by Dr. Varghese Kurian.
Okay. And two more books that you would recommend?
So on my personal front, I shall recommend Wings of Fire by Dr. Abdul Kalam. And apart from that, Thinking Fast and Thinking Slow, that is also one of my favorite by Daniel Kahneman. And also another book that is Atomic Habits by James Clear. These are some of the books that are my favorite. Actually, I recommend to anyone.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. There's a question. What are the most important points IRMA check during MBA interview? So yeah. So from the IRMA point of view, what are these parameters that they're really looking at? Like, is there anything specific that they're looking at the candidate when they're interviewing, like something that they should work on?
So what I have seen that you should be humble, you should be empathetic, and you should be compassionate. These are some of the qualities that interview panel looks in IRMAs. This is a general statement, but this is based on my experience. And apart from that, be confident, and whatever it is, I mean, you just say with confidence, and they will consider it. Like for me also, on my personal front also, I have got 2 years gap in my career, but it was not a hindrance during the interview, or maybe during the interview of Amul or SIS. Okay. So that's the thing.
How do entry level positions vary from MBA Agribusiness Management graduates of State Agricultural University to PGDRM graduate from IRMA in cooperative sector? Okay. Yeah.
So the thing is that if you have studied management for IRMA, you should be going for a management role. Okay. After studying for IRMA. And regarding the cooperatives like Amul comes, okay. Also some state cooperatives comes also, mostly from the dairy sectors for the placement. So most of them are offered in the sales role. Few of them are offered, I mean, on not in dairy sector, in other sector, role in management in manufacturing sector also. Okay. But most of the role that you will be offered in the cooperative sector from IRMA will be, most of them are on sales role. Some of them, few can be marketing roles also. Okay. And yeah, if you can, of course, the kind of packages and the kind of placements, one can also get it, all the information also on the IRMA reports on the website. But yeah, can you tell us a little bit about the kind of, also again, a little bit about the kind of placements and the kind of, yeah. So we were the COVID batch. Okay. So during our time, as far as I can remember, the median or average were around 10 to 12 LPA during our time. Okay. You can also check it with the placement reports also, and whatever is there in the IRMA website, you can trust it. Okay. So we were 2021 batch. During 2021, there was a significant jump in the average salary of the placement. I mean, and during the placement, their average, I think, would have been something around in the range of 14, median or 14 point something. Because my friends were there, they are saying that in 2022, the placement was really good. So I am not particularly aware about the last 2 years, okay, because I am not in directly contact with them. I haven't asked with them, but I think at present the average salary will be, or median salary will be around 15, in the range of 15 LPA. And as I've already said that organizations from diverse sector come in IRMA. Like if organizations from development sector or NGOs are coming, the average salary was in the range of, during our time, I think in 2021, 3 years ago, it was in the range of 8, 9, 10, 12. So also till 15, 16 LPA was of salary was offered also. Now, if you're going for corporate roles, maybe you are going for ICICI Bank or HDFC Bank, the average salary was, I think, more than that. It was in a range of 16, 18 in that range.
Correct.
It varies a lot.
Okay, tell me, so every sector is being having some amount of disruptions caused by AI and ML. How much of that is affecting rural management, and also is IRMA also kind of introducing new subjects in their flagship program to handle all this? Yeah, the change.
We had courses on digital management, and we had also courses on marketing, particularly focusing on ACO and ACM and these kind of things, to give us an overall idea about how the scenario is changing in terms of marketing or in terms of sales.
Is there any impact? Yeah, impact of AI/ML directly on this sector?
Not in my sector, not in the field sales roles. The impact is not much visible till now. But the thing is that the softwares or the tools that we use are, changing rapidly. For example, just for an example, like in every FMCG organizations, the salesman go to the market to take order through an app. Okay, so these days we are able to track the salesman on a live basis. At this moment, I can track where he is working. Also, I can track how he is going to the retailers, how much time he is spending. So, within every 1 to 2 years, these softwares are also developing rapidly, and it is also helping us a lot in terms of our work. It is aiding us a lot.
Correct. Okay. Yeah, we have reached the end of the session. So before we wrap up, can you give us some tips on, give our attendees some tips on IRMA interviews? You've already given very helpful tips anyway. Or for that matter, any particular tips for all the MBA aspirants overall?
Okay. So the thing is that you must have clarity of your own why you are going to take a management degree. So wherever you shall go for interview, this is the first question they will ask you, because some of them are coming from engineering, maybe some of are coming from arts background or humanities background. So you must have this clarity of thought that why you are going for management degrees. You all should prepare this question very well. Apart from that, there are diverse sector or diverse opportunities after getting an MBA degree. Okay, like for IRMA, as I have said, organizations from 12 to 13 different sectors come to IRMA. So be open to work on any sector where you are getting the opportunity. Because I have seen that many of my friends, it happens sometimes that some of them are thinking that I shall work only in corporate banking, or maybe I shall only start my career in FMCG. But sometimes, due to this very stringent kinds of approach, you lose out many good opportunities as well. So be open to it. Whatever opportunity you are getting from the campus, try to grab it. And down the line, it is not that if you are going in banking sector, you won't be able to switch in other, maybe agri-tech or startup. It doesn't happen like that. People switch a lot of jobs. And because I am telling this, because particularly this year, the job market is not that performing well, as I've heard from different juniors also. So be open to it, and that's it. And those who are going to go for MBA, that's my tips, that you should be very clear about why you are going to get the management degree. And from IRMA, as I have already said, you should go through the Jojon and Kurukshetra magazine, be very humble, be compassionate, and just go through the book I Too Had a Dream, and know the basic history of cooperative movement in India and basic history of that would be it.
Okay, thanks for summing it up and all that. Yeah. All right. Okay. That's all we have for this session. I would like to thank all the attendees for the questions, and my special thanks to our speaker, Arunava Sanyal. Thank you so much for giving such insights on rural management, on IRMA, as well as on life after an MBA. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Poonam, for inviting me here. Thank you.